Hello students, today let's take up a very interesting topic, one of your writing skills. You have been doing different writing skills till date, your diary entry, your letter writing, notice writing, report writing. Today let's take up a new writing skill, and that is story writing. Children, why are we teachers making these videos, or why we are asking you to watch them so as to clear your doubts about any topic, and so that in the end the main motive is that you score really well. So let's get started. What is this story writing? Children, first of all, we all know that children are very good storytellers. If you ask them why they were late, why didn't they get good marks, they are always making excuses and narrating stories. We didn't do the homework, man, because this happened. Now let's see how good you are in narrating the skills on the paper. You'll be getting marks for it, fine? In formal terms, if we have to describe what is story writing, we can say that it is an art that requires a lot of communication skills, your narrating skills. It has to be, it is a creative, imaginative and an effective skill. Why we are saying effective? Because it has to affect the reader, your examiner, fine? Now, we have to prepare in very simple, my words, I would say, you are preparing a sweet dish. Now, it's just not that you will add milk and rice to it and sugar and your dish is ready. You have to add in your nuts also, fine? You have to add something else also in order that your dish turns out to be really yummy. Now, what is this extra thing that you are adding? Those are, I would say, that is your vocab, the type of words you are using and the techniques that you are using. It depends on all that. Then comes, children, as soon as you see a topic, it's not that you will start writing on it. You have to think for a while, you have to do a proper planning from, you can say, a storyline. You can do rough work even in English before writing down your final line. Then comes, you can, as I just said, you can do your rough work also, fine? Your story should have characters. First thing, you should think of few characters. Do not include more than 2 or 3 characters. You won't be able to handle them properly. You have to describe them also. How do they look like, the way they are dressed up, fine? Then you have to decide on the setting or the plot setting you have to do, the location you have to describe, then the theme of your story, whether it is a horror story, moral story with a moral, or it is a mystery story, or it has a comic touch. So this is a little, you can say, technique that you have to follow. First decide on the characters, the setting plot, and then the theme. Children, the next is that as they say, a well begun is always half done. The starting line has to be very catchy. It has to be impressive in order to hold your readers. So your first paragraph is going to be very impressive. The characters should have, you could give dialogues to your characters. Over here, children, your direct to speech rules will be useful, right? It's not that you will just elongate your answers by repeating the dialogues or extending on the dialogues. You just have to use specific lines and words, right? It has to be, the starting has to be logical, it has to be sensible, right? Then comes the ending. You cannot leave the story in between. Whatever your story is, it should have a climax. Always try to conclude your story on a happy or a sad note, fine? So in the end we can say that the story should have a proper beginning, middle and end. Now let's summarize few points that we have to remember. First point is that you're going to have an exciting title to your story. Your movie or your story cannot be very exciting unless you give a title to it. The title has to be of limited words, you can say. It should coordinate with your story. It has to be catchy, it should sound good, and in a way it should give us a hint of what the matter is coming up, right? It has to be, we can say, logical, accurate, it has to be sensible. Then comes the story should go in a smooth flow. It's not that you started somewhere else, in the middle the character went somewhere else and the ending is something else. It has to be a you can say connecting story you have to make, right? Then very important thing is your parts of speech you are using, your grammatical mistakes, that is something very important. You are 8th or 9th class students over here, so you are expected to put down some nice vocabulary you have to show over here. Instead of just writing regular reader, you have to write words like avid, ardent readers, right? It's not that you're going to write down complicated words over here, children. The word should be, yes, it should show that this boy or a girl has been reading material, it's not that the first time the child is writing down something. If you want good marks, you have to take pains of reading few stories beforehand, please. And you have to do practice also of few stories. With that we come to an end. I hope at least few points may have got cleared out over here. Again the same tip, do read and write few stories before taking up your exam. That's all. Thank you. Have a nice day.